G'day guys, we finally have the index for World Eaters in our hands, so let's have a look at what these blood-soaked maniacs can do in 10th edition Warhammer 40k.
Look for the Blood God.
Alright, we've already seen what the army rule Blessings of Khorne can do, and we've seen the detachment giving you +1 strength and attack on the charge. What we've got new today is the enhancements, so let's have a look at how you can power up your characters in your 10th edition World Eaters army. Alright, first up we have the Favored of Khorne, World Eaters model only, and each time you make a Blessings of Khorne roll, before doing anything else, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, discard all the dice from that roll and make a new Blessings of Khorne roll. This new roll does not count as a reroll, so the rules that enable you to reroll or manipulate individual dice, for example the Icon of Khorne, can still be used. Alright, straight out of the gate, this is already a really powerful ability. We've already seen the amazing things that you can do with your Blessings of Khorne, however, they're not all guaranteed, and being able to reroll that entire pool greatly increases your chances of getting the more powerful abilities from that Favored of Khorne. In particular, the ability to resurrect Angron, because in order to do that, you need to roll 8 dice, and 3 of those need to be a 6. So being able to reroll the entire result is really powerful, and it combos with other abilities in this codex that allow you to reroll individual dice. So for example, if you're trying to resurrect Angron and you roll the first pool of dice and you get no 6s, you might reroll the whole lot. Whereas if you roll the whole pool and you get 2 6s, you might use one of your Icons of Khorne or your Lord of Skulls' ability in order to change one of those dice into a 6, giving you the third 6 that you require in order to resurrect the big boy. And resurrecting Angron, he's already so hard to kill, but being able to resurrect him at full health is going to be an absolute pivotal ability for World Eaters armies to dominate on the tabletop. Alright, next up we have the Berserker's Glaive. Add 1 to the attacks and damage characteristic of melee weapons equipped by the bearer, and each time the bearer ends a charge move, roll 1d3, and until the end of the turn, add the result of that roll to the attacks and damage characteristic of those melee weapons instead. Wow, being able to add d3 to your attacks and your damage characteristic of melee weapons you're equipped with is going to turn some of these World Eaters characters into absolute murderous beatsticks. I'm thinking the Master of Executions is going to be a really good candidate for this because his weapon does devastating wounds. So it's 2 damage, and every 6 that you roll is going to do 2 mortal wounds. However, if you use this enhancement, you're going to be getting plus D3 to that. So your ability to go in and do 2 plus D3 mortal wounds is going to be really strong, and he gets to reroll all of his hit and wound rolls against character targets. So that's going to mean you're more likely to get those, and you're more likely to be able to snipe characters out of the targets that you're going in for. This is really exciting. It's also really cool on things like a Demon Prince or a Juggernaut Lord, so there's plenty of options, and this is just a really good way of really dialing up the damage of these blood-soaked crazy killers. Alright, next we have Battle Lust. So you can select the bearer's unit for the Heroic Intervention stratagem for 0 CP, and you can do so even if you've already targeted a different unit with that stratagem this phase. Alright, so this is really spicy. Being able to heroically intervene for free on its own is really powerful, but being able to do it in the same phase as another unit means that you're going to be able to heroically intervene with 2 units at the same time. Again, you put this on a Master of Executions in a unit of Berserkers, he confers always fights first to that unit, which means you're going to be able to heroically intervene with multiple things and then fight first across multiple fronts. This is going to be really crazy, and I look forward to seeing it on the tabletop. And then last but absolutely not least, we have Helm of Brazen Ire. Each time an attack is allocated to the bearer, halve the damage characteristic of that attack. Alright, there's a really spicy combo that we will get into later, which is basically where you take a Demon Prince and he provides insane aura buffs to nearby units. However, the Demon Prince himself can be targeted. So I personally think that this Helm of Brazen Ire is a really strong option for the Demon Prince because it's going to keep him alive longer, which is going to allow him to continue to provide those aura buffs to your nearby units. So that's the 4 enhancements that we have in the World Eaters Index, and every single one of them is very, very strong. So I look forward to seeing which ones people take on their lists, and when we get the points cost and we start working out lists, I'll definitely hit you guys back with some of my hot takes and some of my best combos that I can find, and we'll develop that together.
Look for the Blood God.
The Warhammer community suffers from some of the most prohibitively expensive essentials in the world, especially Australian content creators. Every single day, Dean wants to create content, but he can't. Suffering from old, worn-out brushes, expensive model kits, and costly software and equipment he can't endure much longer. Just look at this dirty paint water. Would you drink this? Would you let your child? Even a small monthly donation can help provide Dean with clean paint water, basic tools for survival, and access to life-saving information and education. So please, follow the links in the description below and find out how you can sponsor Dean today and end the suffering. Suffering that is cruel, unsustainable, and your fault.